I just want to see if what resonated with me, in the book pops on the big screen. And I recently just reread it, just to have it fresh in my mind. And my oldest daughter, she's 14, she's read it a couple of times. So I'm just hoping that that magic that popped on the pages of that book pops on the big screen as well. Oh, when I was young, my mom, she's an English teacher, and so I grew up on the Book It program, and my mom gave me a great piece of advice. She would always tell me to read things that don't pertain to me. So when I would go in the library, I would see these stories about, these young white men, whether it was Fudge, or these young white women, whether it was, Margaret. That's what I started picking up and reading, because that seemed like it was the total opposite of the life that I was living. And, with the Book It program, you got to read 4 books to get a free pizza. So, luckily, Ms. Bloom had a big catalog. So I just ran through all her books, her and Beverly Clearly. I used to just run through those when I was younger. I used to like pizza, and I just gravitated towards the storytelling. That's what it is with Judy Blume, or whether it's a Jay-Z or Ghostface, whoever it is, Biggie Smalls, any of these great storytellers is what we gravitate towards. It doesn't matter, what their gender is or what their race is. If they're telling a great story, they'll capture the people, and that's what Judy Blume's work did for me when I was young. When you first read it, you feel like you're peeking into a young woman's diary.
Yeah.
Like you're reading all of these things that you probably shouldn't be reading.
Yeah.
As a young man. But when I read it when I got older, I just resonated with it even more, because it's not just a coming of age tale for a young woman, it's just a coming of age tale for a young person, period. The insecurities, the anxiety, the wanting to fit in, the wanting to be down. So anybody can relate to that. I hope that this movie just introduces Judy Blume's work to a whole new generation of people, because like I said, it's just about the storytelling. And like, you can read books like Are You There, God? It's Me and Margaret, or you can read books like Iggy's House and realize, like, man, these stories still hold up to this day. Like, these things that she's talking about in these books are even still happening, right now in 2023. So I just hope it introduces her catalog to a whole new generation.
Oh my gosh, it feels like the perfect place to kick off this movie that's been in the making for 50 years, or everyone was hoping it would be made one day and that Judy would give her blessing. So it seems really perfect that it's here where she lives, and we're going to go screen it at her theater, and we're going to be in her bookstore tomorrow, which I've heard so much about, and didn't think I'd actually get the chance to come here. So to come with the movie is great.
Very cool.
So Abby was already signed on, Kathy Bates, and I was a huge fan of Kelly's, and Jim Brooks was involved, and I knew Judy had given her blessing, so it was pretty stacked by the time it got around to me, so it was an easy yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I play Margaret's mother, kind of a free spirit, artist type, and recently moved Margaret from her beloved New York to New Jersey, and we're trying to make a new life there. And I've quit my job to be a full-time mom and learn to cook and all this sort of stuff. And so we're kind of both in an identity crisis, I guess, having parallel lives. I love that about this movie too, that Kathy Bates' character, who plays Margaret's grandmother, is also going through her own identity crisis and figuring out who she is now without her family nearby. And so I think it crosses a lot of generations that way. Yeah, I mean, it was a joy to come to work. Abby and Kathy are just such free spirits and so open and so intelligent and passionate about what they do. So. And they were great together. They became really good friends and had such great chemistry. So it was fun to just sit back and watch them play too. But yeah, I mean, and Kathy Bates is just one of the greatest of all time. And she's just, there's no one like her. She's a legend. So it was great to get to work with her. Kelly and I got a lot of time to talk about the character in advance, and I think us both being working moms, we, were able to bring a lot to the character from the start, and it's always just great to have the writer not only on set, but the director as well, to really just complete her full vision. And if there's, anything's not working, it's easy, she's right there to fix it. Yeah. So it was really convenient that way. So, and then Jim is just, he's such a champion of this project and of Kelly, and they work so well together, and Jim has the most generous laugh. You always knew something was truly funny because he didn't hold back, even though we could all hear him, and I'm sure the camera was picking it up too. But just had wild abandon and passion for the project, and that sort of seeped into every corner of it, of putting it together. So I hope everyone just has a really good time at the movies. I feel like that's something that we don't get enough of anymore. I feel like coming out of the pandemic and all the isolation, and especially for young people, I think this could help them feel not alone so much, and all those rites of passage they had to go through alone over the past couple years. We get to kind of come together in the theater together and laugh about the intensity of growing up and how funny it can be at the same time. So I think it's a really well-rounded movie. I just hope everybody has a good time and maybe sheds a tear or two. I did. But I did too.
I am pretty excited and a little nervous, but really excited. It's a small town, we all know each other here. Mm-hmm. The idea that this day has come, that it's finally here, and that I'm here to see it, makes me very happy, very proud, very nostalgic. This cast is so perfect. It's wonderful. I'm going to be talking about that too. So, it's a thrill. It's a thrill, and that, I was there every step of the way. Kelly would send me auditions, and she just knew what she wanted, and she was brilliant at spotting it. I didn't know, but she knew. She knew what she wanted. She knew Abby the minute she met her that this was going to be Margaret. She knew Rachel, and it's just fabulous. And Kathy, well, who wouldn't want Kathy to play your grandma?
I know.
Of course, yes. I hope the audience tonight will just be happy and have a good time, and it's been a long time, The movie theater was closed during COVID. Like all small movie theaters, it was hard times, and we've survived, and I just feel that tonight is bringing back all the wonderful times that we have had in this theater. Yeah, the theater, my husband started it, and it's a nonprofit, and it's got 3 beautiful screens, and all of them are going to be filled up tonight with people waiting, to come and see this movie. And it's it's time for us to dress up and have a party and have a wonderful time again in Key West and at the Tropic. And we hope people will start to come back to the Tropic and enjoy, it's I forgot what a great place it is. I forgot all the fun that we've had here over the years, and that's so important, I think, for movie theaters all over the country.
So excited. It's so surreal to be here, and it just feels like, we feel transported. The minute we stepped off the plane. Yeah. This is the second time I've ever been here, and the first time was to come and pitch Judy Blume making a movie of her book, and now we're here showing it. So it's wild. It's really, really neat. Honestly, I really just poured my heart out to her. I really just told her how much her books meant to me, and just, what a North Star she was for me when I was making The Edge of 17, and that if there was any author I could adapt, it would be her. And so, I think it was just a passionate profession of love, really. Yes, yeah. Well, first of all, Abby is, she's just incredible. Really, I think she's going to take the world by storm. She walked through the door, and we just knew instantly that is Margaret. I just think she has such a beautiful relatability, and you just love her instantly and root for her. And so I'm thrilled. And Rachel McAdams is her performance is so moving and true and funny, and Kathy Bates is hysterical. I think maybe the funniest she's been in years. So incredible. First of all, I am very, very lucky to have come up under Jim Brooks and to have made my first film with him and now my second film. He has such an enormous caring for the work, he really puts his whole heart into it, and that's something that everybody can feel. Everybody can feel on the set, and everybody shows up with that spirit, and it makes a difference. It really does. Yeah, I hope they are just uplifted and hopeful. I hope they laugh. I hope they cry. I hope they deeply relate in the way all Judy Blume books does for us, Yeah. It is incredibly surreal because I can remember exactly where I was when I first read this book, and now to be standing here and have made the movie, I feel like I'm short-circuiting, Yeah. It's just hard to believe the two things are true.
When I first read the book, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is the experience. This is what we all go through. I was so excited when I got the opportunity to bring Margaret to life because it's just something that we can all feel connected to, no matter who you are in this world. But it's just it's the experience that all brings us together. She's growing up, she's experiencing a lot of changes, and she moves, and it's really jarring for her, and she's figuring out how to be with these new friends and with her family and religion, and she's figuring all that out while she's growing up, and it's just a really important journey about finding yourself and just being who you are. It was so incredible. They were all so welcoming and kind and such inspirations of wonderful people to look up to and just be like them. Honestly, they've all had such amazing careers that they're just such an inspiration to work with. I think that they take away that it's just important to be yourself and that no one else should tell you what to be or how to act or anything, but it's just important that you stay true to who you are, and that's all that we can really do in this life.
Oh, it's like the perfect ending to this whole process. I mean, it started here, it's going to have this, final culmination here. It's really exciting. I'm so happy for her, too.
It has the perfect hometown feel when Margaret's coming home.
Yeah. Well, it was Kelly and Jim flew out here and just convinced her. I don't think it took that much. I think that everyone wanted to do this, and Kelly's the perfect writer-director for this. I think did an incredible job, and it just was very strangely easy, actually. After 50 years, it was right? I flowed.
Well, because we thought there's no way this hasn't been done before, so it must be padlocked. That you can't make it. No one will make it, and then it was just easy.
Yeah, it was kismet.
It was kismet.
Oh my gosh!
How many girls did we audition for Margaret?
Hundreds, at least. I mean, and then Abby literally walked in and it was like, okay, there's our Margaret. I mean, and that was the biggest, scariest part of it, because if we didn't have the right Margaret, you don't have a movie, period. And then Rachel was it was natural. I mean, she was exactly what we were looking for. And we did that very quickly, actually.
Very quickly. She was game and a fan.
And loved the book, yeah. Well, I think Kathy was our first, hope that she would do it. Yeah. And then that was the definite
That was
get.
the get.
And we were so excited when we got her. And then, with Benny, we were just kind of thinking of who would be a great dad. And then I think we saw a movie, something, and we're like, oh, there he is, And then he was so cool and just great to come and do it.
I think you said it exactly right. It's so familiar that it's seminal. In my life, no one was talking about it. Sex ed wasn't talking about it. No one was talking about it. And suddenly you had a friend in Pages that was telling you
all the secrets.
Right.
And I'll never forget that, and I'll never forget the production that we did where everyone came to it as a fan. And I don't know how often that happens. It was just a group of fans making this film.
Yeah.
And that was everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we would screen the movie, and you go in the bathroom afterwards, and women are crying, and women are talking about their first experiences, and it was such a great thing to start that conversation, and I just love that this movie can do that. I just want, especially women, but men too, just to having your period, having puberty, going through this, it's just normal. It's your body, it's a great thing, it's how you grow and and even her religious experience through this, how you find yourself, and that's an amazing journey.
I think it's still an embarrassing thing to buy Tampax and pads for the first time. I think it's still and I hope that the takeaway is you can proudly check out with your Tampax and pads.
Even if a guy's checking you out.
Even if it's a guy, exactly.
I think Kelly wrote Judy a letter, to which Judy responded. We went immediately to Key West to talk to her, and we were very excited. And so much so that it was almost awkward for a second, and then George, her husband, said, "We're doing this, aren't we?" And then there was a group hug, and that was 4.5 years ago, yeah. It wasn't even that exhaustive, because you're ready for 6 months of seeing 1,000 kids, and it wasn't like that. It was, Abby came in fairly early in the game, as did some of the other kids, and Rachel was an immediate thought, and Kathy was an immediate thought. And it just worked, and it's at a certain point it's what the fates deal you. People aren't available. This doesn't happen, and the fates were good to us. The book, Kelly had read, all the women had read. I read as we went into this, but the book was amplified us by Judy's presence throughout, and just serving what she did, every step of the way. And that made it scary. Because you just wanted to write by her. Oh, well, we have a very small outfit, so we'd work together on Edge of 17. We'd all work together if there was familiarity, and with Kelly, it's great. She did an amazing job. It's especially in terms of the effortless way she worked with the kids, and the kind of performances that happen.